Hello, my name is William Thomas. I'll try and get through this video as quickly as possible, but please bear with me. I'll be reviewing the GPS data that I'm accessing and using in my game, ZombieShooter. In this game, there are two main objects that correspond to the GPS data code that I wrote. There is the core game, which has the script with all of my code in it. Then there's a Unity UI object script or object, and in that object is a text another object with a text component on it. This is the component that I access from core game to set the data that you see in this bottom right hand circle. So right now, location service is currently disabled by user because I'm using it on my desktop. But let me get to my code. To start, I have a boolean for is the location device active, or is location in the device active. Next, I have an old UI GPS text that I was using to display the information in a box similar to this one you see on the top of the screen. But because I have this new UI spot, I got rid of it. So I just get rid of this. I have a UI gyro text object, which is this in the top right hand corner, but that won't have anything to do with the GPS data. The public image minimap image is that green circle that you saw on the screen. Public text minimap text, which is the text object that you saw in that text object, or in that image object. I have the public player cur player, which is in start it finds the current player in the scene. I have a public void exit button just to return to scene in it, which is the first scene when you launch the app. I have void track GPS data, which is my primary method for all the code I use to access the GPS data from the GPS device. I'll be coming right back to that. The rest of the script first. The public void track gyro isn't really used for GPS data, it's just posting text to that box up here on the top right of the screen. In start, I assign my location dev active boolean to the current boolean is the location enabled by user. So input, I check the current input of the device running location, and if it's enabled by user, in this case it is setting it to false because I'm using my desktop. In update, I call track GPS data, that primary method that I have all of my GPS data in, or GPS code written in. If the location dev active boolean is equal to true, then I want to start tracking that location data from the input device. Then I'm going to create a local int wait time, and I'll assign that to 20. 20 is what I saw in the official Unity manual. When I was researching GPS data, they actually use a coroutine, start coroutine with an IE numerator, but for this I didn't do that. I just made it a void to call an update, and I'll get right back to that. But while the current input device .location.status is equal to a status of initializing, and the wait time local int is greater than 0, then I'm going to subtract that wait time each recursion of this while loop, and I'm going to print what the current wait time is, and that will be posted in the console right here. Of course, I suppose I could remove that because that's not really helping me because I'm not able to see the console on my Android device. But actually, no, I'll leave it just in case the Unity Remote 5 actually connects that that location. Let me see. Okay, it is connected to my Android device, and it's working on the Unity Remote, but it's not passing that input location. So I'll have to add another video after this one that's a screencast or me recording the front screen of my tablet and that actually working. You'll see the altitude, longitude, latitude, timestamp, all in this green circle. But this minimap text is essentially the same string that I'm passing the wait time, but assigning it to the on-screen display. That way I can actually see the wait time on the device if it's not working correctly, if it's not initializing. So next I have if the wait time is less than 1, because up here I say if it's greater than 0. Then if it is 1, then it's going to subtract once, it's going to run this one last time, and then pass to here. And I print to console if the location status connection timed out, and I set the UI text, minimap text, the green circle text to it being timed out. If the current status for input.location, the device input, is equal to a status of failed, then I want to print to console location service timed out and change the GUI text to location service timed out. The minimap text, again, is this green circle. The text in the green circle. So else, this else is if the current location status is failed, or is not failed, right? So if the current status is not equal to a status of failed, then it will access the current player and pass a public void that I wrote in the player script. What was it? Cur player.update player chord position. That's this method here. Public void update player chord position float lat, float long. And for the float lat and float long, I'm passing the device input dot location dot last data received dot latitude and longitude. So curPlayer.update chord position. In the update chord position, it takes those two floats I pass in its parameters, and I create a local vector3 named temp player position equals a new vector3 and the lat pass in the parameters, the current player rigid body dot transform dot position. I guess that could just be transform dot position, but I'll just make it the player transform dot position dot y. So this could actually be 0 because I'm not using the altitude to set my player position, but I am using latitude and longitude to set the x and the z, and then the y keeps to the same 0. No, 180. No, that's rotation. Oh, 25. Well, that's right. The point of origin for the player compared to the zombies' point of origin is at their feet, and the player's point of origin is up a little bit. That way, you're looking directly at the zombies. So then I want 25.6 F to be my constant Y. The player rigid body dot move position, the local vector 3 that I just made, the new local vector 3 temp player position. Then I'll print to console the latitude, longitude, altitude, and timestamp. But of course, in the editor, that does not print to the console because there's no location device enabled on this desktop. I commented this out. I was displaying it on the screen in this big box, just like that one, like I was saying, but I got rid of it so I could just delete this code. The minimap text.text, that primary text object in the green circle, it equals the latitude string and the actual latitude of the device input .location .last data received latitude. Same with next I use the /n to make it go to a new line or next line in this text asset. It's like if I hit enter here, doing the same thing. And with longitude, and the same with altitude and timestamp. Then I add two more: the current player's transform.position.x in the scene world, and the Y, and the Z. I mean, yeah, because I know the Y is going to be a constant of 25. Then I stop the input.location service, and else if the location dev active boolean is equal to false, or well, if else it's not equal to true, then print to the console location service is currently disabled by user, which is evident here. Location service is currently disabled by user. And the minimap text.text is going to say the same thing, which it does. Location service is currently disabled by user.